Hey there, fellow wanderers. As night quietly embraces the world, imagine the cold touch of the earth beneath your feet, leading you through a fertile yet tumultuous landscape. The air feels thick with unease, carrying the scent of damp soil intertwined with a distant whiff of smoldering wood. Faint, echoing metallic groans ripple through the darkness, like the earth itself letting out a long, deep breath. Such vibrations, intense and visceral, shake loose stones and snap branches, forging a rhythm the earth alone knows how to follow. The encircling darkness brims with barely contained energy, ancient, formidable, and deeply unsettling. This is no fairy tale. It is the raw reality of the New Madrid earthquakes, a series of relentless tremors that coursed through the Mississippi Valley in the winter of 1811 to 1812. These events reshaped the land, setting the stage for enduring legends. So, before we dive deeper, I ask only this. If this kind of raw, unvarnished truth speaks to you, click like, hit subscribe, and leave a trace of yourself in the comments. Tell me your city, your time, your state of mind. Now, dim the lights. Let the hum of your fan blend with the wind of centuries past. Let's begin. And remember, in those ancient times, even survival was a luxury. As you trudge through the annals of history, feel the once firm ground shift beneath your feet. Thousands of people, waking to a midnight earthquake that eclipsed anything they'd ever known, might have felt much the same. Land, usually so solid, turned suddenly unreliable, leaving a worried populace staring into the night sky's pale expanse, divine wrath or fortune-telling on their minds. The earthquakes were technically tectonic shifts in the North American plateau, enormous slab of the Earth's rocky crustbutt to the eyes and tongues of 19th century Mississippians. These quakes were the whispers of angry ancestral spirits, judging their mortal descendants. The first mainstream historical fact you might recognize: the New Madrid earthquakes remain some of the strongest ever recorded in continental United States history. They went on for weeks, and historians still argue whether certain urban legends of the Mississippi actually flowing backward were true. At the very least, some lakes were swallowed whole, and new ones emerged in a landscape apparently as ruthless as it was generous. Just imagine the earth opening its mouth to swallow entire riverbanks and then closing again. One quirky or fringe tidbit inspiring endless campfire tales refers to Reelfoot Lake, formed by these earth-shaking convulsions. Locals spun stories around Reelfoot's origin like yarn, attributing its creation to the mighty shaking fit of Judge Reelfoot, an Indian chief from tribal lore who was supposedly contorted in anguish over a forbidden love. In these tales, the landscape was as much a character as the people themselves, framing each devastation with personal loss, hopeful rebirth, and cycles of natural vengeance. Historians still puzzle over the centralized nature of these earthquake shows. They burst from the middle of nowhere with such force. Imagine a landscape where your only expectation was quiet reliability, perhaps the occasional flood, but then suddenly the ground beneath you decides to do its best impression of a breakdancer. Every rumble, every gut-wrenching buck of the land beneath their beds may have felt less like a natural process and more like an orchestrated dance of celestial proportions. Of course, while the earth trembled, society, surprisingly, solidified a quirky reflex. Amid the cacophony of uncertainty and chaos, buds of communal strength grew. Families pulled tighter together, seeking warmth and solidarity against the tremors that tried to tear them apart. This shared horror molded an oral tradition, rich in imagery and lessons handed down like heirlooms, as essential as they were intangible. The air tonight might feel as though it bears faint echoes of those uncertain nights, when scores buried across grassy rills fell deeper, and those who lived felt the irrelevance of material things. You may trace the lives imagined from those legends, and how the echoes of such monumental events continue to inspire not fear, but respect, a tribute to the unpredictable forces that shape our very survival. So here, at the threshold of Earth's mighty undulations, you stand at the intersection of fact and legend, the frequency of catastrophe, and the ever-beating heart of community resilience, beating in unison against the odds. The spirits keep their counsel in the cracks and seams that eternity leaves on the surface of our shared history, and though the ground beneath you steadies, you've only just learned to listen. Sweet dreams are but a moment away as the ground solidifies beneath you once more, promising refuge, albeit a fleeting one, until the next gentle quirk in time decides otherwise. You surrender to the inexorable pull of sleep, as the stories of whirlwinds past sweep you deeper into the mysteries of the Mississippi. Picture it now. The sky shifts above you, dark and swirling, an unsettling melody of churning air and distant roars. The scent of rain-soaked earth mingles with the electric charge alive in the storm's breath. Tornadoes, with their twisting, hungry spirals, are nature's temper tantrums, provoking respect, awe, and mythic imagination. In the state famed for its thundering tempests, tornadoes are not merely weather, they're interwoven with the folklore that looks at winds as messengers and harbingers of change. Locals tell tales of how these savage whirlwinds were once thought to be the breath of mythical beasts. Imagine creatures with feathery scales and gleaming eyes, snorting from gaping cloud mouths as they playfully dance across the plains, turning landscapes inside out with a flick of their invisible tails. The mainstream historical fact here involves the notorious tri-state tornado of 1925, one of the deadliest tornadoes in American history, tearing mercilessly across a 219-mile path. This cyclonic terror grounded the time-worn wisdom that the sky could transform into a beast without warning. Folk myths, however, diverge from purely factual accounts, offering colorful narratives about how these tempests shape reality. One local legend speaks of the storm lizard, a colossal creature slumbering beneath the rolling fields, stirring to life only when it senses restlessness in the world above. When day turns feral, and the clouds coalesce into twisting funnels, it is said to be its serpentine thrashing that births whirlwinds, carrying the chaos of the underworld to the skies. Historians, often on the hunt for kernels of truth within myth, still argue whether there were any hidden truths to these ancient allegories, believed to keep storm terror manageable by distilling it into something tangible, something with intentions, albeit mischievous ones. Was it a mere storytelling device? Or did these tempestuous tales help populations reconcile the capriciousness of nature with a more comforting structure of belief? The scholarly debates wander into meteorological studies as their core, evaluating the likelihood of knowing enough to predict or perhaps even influence the storm beasts of old. Advanced as our modern tools are, they remain but frail branches in the winds of nature's grandeur, unable to catch the inevitability of a system grander than human comprehension. Despite the uncertainty, people continue to find solace in their narratives. In older times, they would haul out tin cups and singing spoons, rattling them in ritualistic fervor to placate or communicate with the wind beast, as if offering it a cacophony to draw its interest away from their homes. Children would listen wide-eyed to these age-old rituals, perhaps taking away the lesson that sometimes resistance lies not in building might, but in weaving harmony. And where do modern imaginings perch, you ask? Tornado warnings interrupt your favorite television shows as you're urged to take cover against the forceful winds. Meanwhile, whispers of legend surface subtly in classroom scenarios or the echoes of family storytelling late at night. The age-old balance of dread and reverence lingers, pulling you away from reality ever so gently into cosmic dances of giants and gales, where nature wears a mask of fable. So, as the storm winds whisper their stories to the rocking cradle of sleep, allow the symphony of wind-blown history to serenade you. Allow yourself to dream of skies wild and wondrous, where the breath of beasts and bending winds persist beyond the waking world, bringer of dreams and weaver of tales. Sleep well, in the protection of this imagined world, knowing that even in chaos, there is comfort to be found in the stories the wind carries. As you drift further into the soothing embrace of this tale, you find yourself at the banks of the great Mississippi River. The air here is thick with moisture, the scent of wet earth and fish mingling with the brisk river breeze. The gentle lapping of the water against the shore is a rhythmic lullaby, deceptively calm, belying the mighty force that courses endlessly past. This river is the backbone of America, lovingly referred to as the Great Father, by the people who have depended on its sustenance and dreaded its wrath. Your journey takes you back to the devastating floods that have, time and again, reshaped the banks and the very lives entwined with them. Particularly memorable was the Great Flood of 1925. 927, a cataclysm that left an indelible mark on history and legend alike. Imagine the land beneath your feet being slowly, inexorably claimed by the water, the horizon dissolving into an endless, formless plain of chaos. Mainstream history recalls this flood as one of the deadliest in the United States, its deluge consuming thousands of square miles and displacing hundreds of thousands of people. But here, in this storytelling twilight, the flood becomes more than just a historical fact. It's a cataclysm seen through the eyes of the multitude of spirits believed to inhabit its depths. These waters, expansive as they are enigmatic, often believed to be guided by the whims of ancient deities whose moods flowed as fluidly as the currents themselves. Folk stories from the period are filled with hushed tales of how these deities revealed their presence through unpredictable water levels, whispering through reeds and summoning spirits from the brackish depths to walk among mortals during the floods. One particularly quirky tale tells of an ancient fish spirit, Old Man River, who was said to govern the river's flow. In times of great floods, he would playfully tickle the flood banks with his scales, causing them to overflow, testing the faith and resolve of the people who cherished the river's bounty, yet feared its temper. It's said he could be placated by music, which explains why songs of rain and water often wafted through the evening's notes, intended to soothe his beastly heart. You see, the river wasn't just a geographical feature, it was an entity with a mind and will of its own. When the river chose to overflow, it wasn't just a nuisance. No, in the stories woven by those at its mercy, it was a great cleansing, a time for renewal that forged new paths in the delta and carved wisdom into waterlogged hearts. When you step into these tales, you find yourself wondering, as historians still argue, whether these floods were simply natural occurrences or divine messages encoded within chaotic waters, meant to prod humanity into deeper respect and unity. Standing at the water's edge, staring into the murky abyss, you sense how the devastation of the flood nourished the next harvest. Considered both a blessing and a curse by the ancient tribes, each inundation washed the land clean anew, leaving behind rich deposits that fertilized the fields, encouraging untold bounty from the richest soil. Nature's cryptic sense of humor, the tales suggest, ensured that the tears and toil of one generation might serve as the fertile foundation for the next. In these pastures and parishes, woven into the tapestry of everyday life, you find a people shaped by the river's whims. They are tough-skinned and quick-witted. Jokers even asked if perhaps to survive the Mississippi's moods was to inherit its capricious soul. So remember this as you weave through the annals of Mississippian legends. Whether blessed by bountiful harvests or cursed by drowning waters, the river's gift was the paradoxical resilience and reverence it incited in those who thrived along its shores. So, as the tales settle into the sleepy indigo space of twilight, let the energy of the sometimes gentle, sometimes wild Mississippi guide you. Let it remind you of the duality inherent in nature and in ourselves. That as you fall asleep, with the mighty river echoing in your dreams, you realize you too flow on, gently nudging the delicate balance between tumult and tranquility. As the night deepens, the hush around you morphs into the steady hum of a flowing narrative. Here in the realm of whirling winds, you find stories that twine like vines around the landscape's storms, intricate and wild. The air is thick, tinged with an unexpected coolness, as you stand amidst an expanse where nature shows off its most whimsical dance. Bend your ear to the winds that sweep through the Mississippi plains, carrying the whispers of ancient voices tussling with every swirl. In this theater of tempests, you become an audience to tornadoes that once spun tales as vivid as the spirals they drew upon the land. Their rapid cacophony echoes like distant drums through the valleys, revolutionizing the tales told by those who dared to witness their fearsome beauty. You picture the horizon a living canvas, draped in slate grey and ivory, unwittingly painted by the hand of a beast, or perhaps by nature itself mid-revelry. The mainstream factual tale you step into recalls the Great Natchez tornado of 1840, famously remembered not just for the destructive power that obliterated a commercial center, but also for the spectral whispers of spectral dances it stirred into the world's ears. This was a calamity that took lives and livelihoods, only to be recounted time and again, with reverence for the magnitude of force held in wind's invisible hand. In other stories, however, the tornadoes are not solely destructive forces. They are depicted as necessary trials, cleansing the earth and making way for new beginnings. Picture tornadoes as the mischievous offspring of a tempestuous sky god, sent to teach humans humility and perhaps to relieve the burden of monotony. Legends speak of how early tribes would watch the skies with an intimacy known only to those who looked for the language of survival written across the heavens. Tornadoes, with their shuddering arms, were seen as messages from the divinity, perhaps, as passages between worlds. One popular strand of folklore holds that these whirling storms gathered the words of spirits and stories from beyond, casting them with gleeful urgency into the realms of the living. In folk tradition, it wasn't uncommon for people to interpret these spinning storms as harbingers of change, bringers of justice, or even agents of renewal, whether clearing out old, unaired grievances or ushering in the new myths to fuel the imagination of generations. Tornadoes were part chaos, part canvas. Historians still argue whether these stories serve to placate fears, reinforce societal norms, or elevate the mundane into the mystical. One quirky tale you might chuckle at involves Bessie, a local legend of human resilience against the kingdom of the sky. It's said that Bessie defied tornadoes with her homemade contraption, a wind wall woven from discarded fishnets and driftwood. Did it stop a tornado? Well, let's say it made for grand storytelling material, encouraging a local culture of ingenious, albeit whimsical, defiance. The scholarly debate endures over the human endeavor to harness these storms, to understand or even control them. The irony lies in the simplicity of the realization that our greatest creations or deepest stories are eternally entwined with the very unpredictability we wish to master. The underlying truth remains that such forces of nature are one part science, one part mystery, each swirl spinning beyond the bounds of human control. Relax now, as these melodious tales subside, slipping into the crevices of imagination. Float effortlessly as the final notes from wind instruments fade into a humming crescendo, nudging you gently towards a peaceful slumber. With stormy tales woven into the vast tapestry of your mind, find comfort in the knowledge that these whirling winds are storytellers too, inviting you to dream worlds where shadows dance with the ephemeral beauty of a tempest's heart. You find yourself transported once more, this time to the Gulf Coast, where the air is thick with salt and mystery. The scent of seaweed and the stinging tang of saltwater cling to you, intensifying as the world grows smaller and tighter under pressing grey skies. Those vast swirling cyclones of the past, hurricanes known as the storm spirits, have left imprints that are as much psychological as they are physical. These hurricanes are nature's gargantuan size, a reminder of the powerful interplay of heat, wind, and water. They travel with unrelenting momentum across oceanic expanses, eventually making landfall with the indifference of gods, inclined only by nature's ebb and flow. The mainstream historical fact that punctuates this narrative is Hurricane Katrina in 2005, a storm so colossal that its name still echoes with anguish and the sobering reality of nature's force when it bears down upon human ambition. But the stories tucked away in the folds of history embellish hurricanes with spiritual hues. In local lore, hurricanes are more than mere meteorological phenomena. They are seen as visits from ancient, sometimes malevolent deities. Indigenous tales from the past centuries suggest these storms are the involuntary spits of agitated sea gods, protesting in a language as old as the tides themselves. These stories paint a worldview where everything is connected, where human folly might anger the tides or calm winds, leading to a dive into chaos or serenity. A particularly whimsical tale claims that in the lull before a storm, souls from the seas whisper secrets into the conch shells scattered along the beaches. Those secrets, it is said, could guide sailors homeward past the fury of woken waters. This folklore weaves beautifully into the scholarly discussions over whether these tales arose as nautical warnings encoded into moral storytelling or as pedagogical tools announcing nature's boundlessness. Even as hurricanes batter the shores, reshaping coastlines by day, by night, they tug at the narrative ropes of communal memory, forming cautionary tales about the symmetry between human resilience and nature's whim. Historians still argue whether the narratives spun from these storms were reflections of cultural resilience or communal catharsis, as people huddled together against the wind, while tales wove walls stronger than any ivy from either stone or steel. Some poetic anecdotes involve the hurricane-laden skies, seen as monstrous beasts pulling water from the earth and sea into dizzying peaks and spirals. Imagine titans who rise from depths unknown to play celestial games, unfurling gales and torrents like so many game pieces over oblivious dwellers of terra firma. Picture Caden, a young fisherman known in his small village for consulting the sea not for fish, but for signs. In folklore, it is said he discerned the hurricane's intentions simply by watching the flight of pelicans skirting menacing clouds. He even humorously claimed to have sewn fishnet maps of the storm paths a homage, perhaps to a hope that understanding chaos might render it a trifle less terrifying. These fragments of stories are maps themselves, leading you through the veiled corridors of a history shaped not just by the storms, but by the imagination and endurance of those who faced them. Each hurricane carves a legend into the coastal sands, leaving the land, like stories themselves, forever altered by the whims of restless spirits. As the night settles around you like a gentle tide, let the remnants of these stormy tales wrap you in safe darkness. You're buoyed towards dreams of distant shores, where whispers of wind and waves continue their ceaseless dialogue, a testament to nature's immense power and the small yet enduring spirit of human resilience. The stories, seas, and stormsaw merge into the lullaby's slow cadence, rocking you gently into the heart of slumber's embrace. The night deepens as the mist rolls in, cocooning you in a shroud of surreal silence. Imagine walking through a world where sound is absorbed by the blanket of fog, leaving you alone with nothing but your thoughts and the damp touch of air on your skin. You find yourself on an endless stretch where the Mississippi River snakes silently, its presence felt more than seen under the veil of mist. The fog is thick, and with each step forward, you're transported deeper into its embrace. In this ethereal landscape of suspended moisture, local legends find their voices, whispered to those who dare to listen. The mist, shrouding the riverbanks, conceals realms where the spirits of the past are said to roam, moving fluidly between the portals that fog creates when it smothers the earth like a soft, merciful nightfall. This is no ordinary weather phenomenon. Here, the fog is a magical boundary where myths and reality blend seamlessly. The mainstream historical fact acknowledges the fog as a critical factor in famous naval battles and maneuvers, offering both cover and challenge to those navigating its thick embrace. The Battle of Belmont, during the Civil War, is one of those moments where the fog turned into an unplanned ally, veiling movements in its comforting shadows. For those traversing the Mississippi River, the fog has always been more than a natural occurrence. It's often been seen as a mystical harbinger, cloaking the world in ambiguity and offering a sense of cloistered refuge from whatever dangers might lean against the periphery. Legends speak of the fog creating secret worlds, places where ancient spirits dance unseen in the cloistered mist, or where lost souls bartered for new beginnings. A charmingly quirky tale concerns the mysterious fog fairies, believed to be mischievous tricksters who lent a helping hand to travelers with good hearts, or slyly rearranged the environs of those with foghorn voices lacking respect for the spirits. The fairies were said to weave dreams from tendrils of vapor, and as you wonder at their invisible craftsmanship, you can see why they might linger in the realms of folklore. Historians still argue whether these legends convey just whimsy or are tinted with the parochial experiences of settlers and ancient tribes who understood the protective nature of fog. It's also a metaphor for human resilience, serving as a reminder that even in obscured visions blurs of fear and uncertainty lies the opportunity for cautious exploration. The fog inspires tales of seclusion and emergence, where identities are forged and secrets buried. An old carpenter, Silas, would tell stories to young listeners about fog-bound Charlie, a gallant drifter believed to be guided by the mist itself, lending almost magical protection against encroaching adversaries. It's curious, don't you think, that stories elaborate on encounters crafted purely from moments of low visibility? And here, in this rarefied environment, you sense how the mist enhances the landscape's paranormal presence. It doesn't just cloud sight, but sharpens awareness. With every breath, you negotiate through a symphony of veiled threats, heartbeats echoing aloud in the fabric of shadowed myths, mirrored back by the silent watch of the river. As the moonlight struggles to pierce through the dense layers hanging heavy above, you're reminded of the interconnected stories woven by the Fogoth moments shrouded, mysteries kept, and the quiet promise of clarity when dawn comes softly to burn away the indigo gauze. Let these tales guide your transition from the mystical edge of the waking world into the knees of slumber, where you'll find visions blending with the intimate darkness. The fog rolls away softly as your night deepens, cajoling you into repose. Here, under the thick blanket of mist and imagination, stories swaddle you tenderly, whispering you to sleep coaxed by the same fog that has hidden and revealed treasures for generations. Let your consciousness drift, contented and free, unearthing dreams within the swirling depths of Mississippi's myth-laden embrace. Under the canopy of stars, as your mind gently collects the sparks of night's endless mysteries, a spectacle unfolds. Meteor showers streak across the velvet sky, each fiery orb leaving behind a silver whisper that fades before your eyes. You hover here, in the sacred intersection between earth and sky, steeped in the marvel of celestial fireballs illuminating the stories of the past. As these celestial bodies rain down from above, they cast ancient, illuminating threads into the vast tapestry of human lore. To the earthbound observers, these meteors become more than fiery streaks, they are acts of cosmic drama, interpreted through the lens of myth as battles between heavenly warriors or the flaring passions of skybound deities. The ancestors saw them as divine fireworks, a great spectacle performed on the heaven stage, accentuating the earth with mythology and wonder. The mainstream historical fact about meteor showers serves as nature's perpetual reminder of a universe in constant motion, seen but briefly in episodic gusts of brilliance. The Great Leonid Meteor Storm of 1833 lit not only the night skies but also the imaginations of observers like never before. Thousands of meteors per hour burned through the sky, leading locals to question whether this fiery rain heralded the world's imminent ending or a monumental celestial rebirth. However, the fringes of folklore unfurl wilder tales. There's one story, enjoyed by generations, about a celestial warrior named An Pao, who battled the cosmic serpent Zug, each pass resulting in earthbound flames that sprinkled stardust upon observing eyes. These fiery battle scars eventually settled as earthly inspiration, sparking both creation stories and tales of destruction. It's here that historians still argue whether meteor showers sculpted early humanity's understanding of the cosmos and time, positing them as catalysts for change, symbols of aspirations, and tangible links to an untouchable universe. Our ancestors attempted to grasp the universe's vastness through symbols and stories, projecting these cosmic shows as celestial portents that might trace the fates of men and women. Among the quirky anecdotes lies the story of an eccentric inventor, Murray, with visions of building something remarkable out of stardust collected from meteorites. Recognizing the potential energy captured in these otherworldly rocks, he dreamt of extracting fuel for machines of flight and engineer's wish, bounded by wonder at the universe's generous offerings. These stories mix reality with unreality, where each flaming streak carries both scientific mystery and magical symbolism, dancing easily between worlds. As night stretches, each blazing trail of light becomes a thread in humanity's storytelling fabric, binding future dreams with the past's mythical lanterns. Imagine standing under this cosmic shower, your senses attuned to the universe's rhythmic hymn, seeking messages encrypted in light while brimming with celestial promise. The night whispers, riding the waves of these fiery voyages, sowing seeds of curiosity deep within your restive soul, urging you towards dreams seasoned with the cosmos's tales. Let the rain of stars draw you gently into sleep, guiding your mind through a vast universe awash with dreams and legends. In this space, the waking world blurs, dissolving gently as you breathe in the night's energetic stillness. Draw comfort from the meteor's ephemeral dance, a soothing reminder that even the most vibrant struggles shape the stories we tell, the dreams we weave, and the peace we ultimately find. Embrace this moment as you slip into the stardust of dreams, cradled by the night's infinite tapestry. As the elements weave a tapestry of legend and reality, you find yourself drawn to the flashes and crackles that light up the sky with electric exuberance. Lightning, a sublime spectacle of nature, a brilliant cascade of illumination cutting through night's dark embrace. Each bolt zigzags across the sky, a fleeting masterpiece, leaving behind the smell of fresh ozone and charged anticipation in the air. In the hush that follows a lightning storm, tales begin to unfurl. Lightning, long viewed as an arrow from the heavens, has charged the folklore surrounding it with complex narratives, from divine retribution to harbingers of fate. In ancient Mississippian belief, it held a significance beyond its blinding brilliance, serving as a celestial message written briefly but poignantly across the skies. The mainstream historical fact draws you to the lightning-laden skies of the 4th of July, 1776, when vivid tales emerged of how a storm supposedly lit up the revolutionary aspirations of the American spirit. A spark of freedom mirrored in the tempest's fury. Nature echoed the fiery resolve of an entire nation and marked the night with the element's signature. But let's delve further into the more imaginative threads that braid themselves into folklore. Lightning was often deified, personified as an awe-filled divine warrior, battling through the skies, wielding bolts as both weapon and beacon. Whispers from ancient campfires suggest that these bolts carried messages from gods watching over the earth, their brilliant arcs interpreted as signs of approval or wrath. One quirky or fringe tale you might find captivating involves the saga of Lightning Beth, a local woman of legendary wit, blessed with rumored protection from lightning itself. As legend has it, Beth defied the skies by chasing storms, joyously capturing what she claimed was bottled lightning, a fanciful secret known only to her. Historians still argue whether such tales served to impart lessons of resilience and daring, or if they were spun for the sake of whispers and laughter on stormy nights. Scholars often debate whether these myriad myths stemmed from awe of the elemental might itself, or the hope that there existed a human connection sublime enough to withstand such sheer force. Regardless, each bolt seems to echo a collective breath, holding a roomful of secrets briefly brought to light before fading once more. Consider the power at your fingertips. The lightning rods devised by thinkers like Benjamin Franklin, desiring not to rival the heavens but to harness nature's raw energy for common use. These inventions embodied human ingenuity, bridging the gap between the mundane and the divine, crafting safety from understanding rather than entrusting whims. Amongst these tales, your senses find both grounding and spark in the legends passed down through generations. Each storm's energy resonates, connecting the echoes of ancient sky gods with present realities, weaving through the night and embedding itself in the pulse of human existence. Allow the lingering aroma of storm-charged air and the calming rhythm of distant thunder to guide you inward into the plush folds of sleep. Let the remnants of this electrical symphony serenade you, their light flickering like soft fire in the recesses of memory, soothingly familiar, yet perpetually potent. As your senses drift into deep repose, embrace the mythic and electric contours of your dreams, seeking solace in the interwoven fabric of sky-born legends and earthly whispers. Stay there, cradled in starlight and storm, secure in the universe's sheltering embrace. As you journey deeper into the night, you find yourself enveloped by the rhythmic drumming of raindrops, each droplet a messenger from the heavens above. The rain falls in gentle waves, its cool touch against your skin, mingling with the earthy smell of soil quenched, a reminder of the eternal dance between sky and earth. The rains have long held a dual nature in Mississippian legends, feared for their destructive power, yet revered as harbingers of growth and renewal. In the hush between rainfalls, stories begin to seep through like water finding its way into the cracks of parched earth. Mainstream history records the Great Flood of 1927 as one of the most catastrophic events in the Mississippi Valley, with the rain's unyielding onslaught swelling the river to its breaking point, submerging lives and lands, creeks and dreams beneath its muddy expanse. It was a poignant reminder of nature's sweeping hand, how it can inspire and overwhelm in equal measure. Yet beyond this devastation lie tales that paint the rains with gentler brushstrokes. In folklore, rain often represents more than mere precipitation. It is woven into the spiritual tapestry as divine tear-steers that nurture the earth, allowing for rebirth where desolation once reigned. Imagine the Native American tribes of the region performing rain dances, their feet pounding rhythmic life into the earth, beseeching the skies for the touch of liquid magic that would transform dust into bounty. Your explorations of the past reveal a quirky tale of the Rainmaker, an enigmatic figure from local lore, rumored to have possessed the ability to coax or quell the skies with melodic tunes played upon a bone flute. His legacy endures in bedtime tales and fireside chats, stories passed lovingly to each new generation. Historians still argue whether figures like these are mere figments of fanciful imaginations or reflections of humankind's eternal desire to influence natural phenomena. The scholarly debate persists regarding the rain's role as both provider and destroyer, narrating a deeper exploration of humanity's complex relationship with water. It is humbling to be both nurtured by and at the mercy of a single element, finding resilience through adaptation and cautionary whispers shared across centuries. Consider the experiences of rain through the ages. Sometimes a blessing gently laid upon fields, sometimes a torrential deluge carving new pathways. Rain, whether healing or unforgiving, embodies the cyclical nature of existence, cycles of deterioration and regeneration manifesting in liquid elegance. In this equilibrium, storytellers find rich narrative soil, where the very essence of life blooms with complexity and unpredictability. Find comfort now in the harmonious patter above. Let it tell tales of growth from the ruins as you slip tranquilly into the folds of sleep. Each rain's refrain becomes your lullaby, guiding you through dreams crafted from the interplay of elemental forces. You are carried by these droplets which nourish, refresh, and imbue meaning into each mythic cycle towards a peaceful repose. So rest in this suspended moment as the soothing embrace of rain leads you towards night's forgiving depths. Let its whispers accompany you into dreams where worlds emerge from waters and legends live in the echoes, carried forward by the rivers of time and memory. Dream well, sweet wanderer, held in the tender balance of earth and sky, shadowed in the protection of ancient rains. As your mind unfurls into the cushioned silence of the night, you traverse lands scorched by the relentless eye of the sun. Here, in the land of Mississippi, where the mighty river bends and flows, droughts emerge as formidable adversary-imposing trials that test the endurance of all who dwell beneath their blistering gaze. Imagine the parched earth beneath your feet, cracked and brittle, stretched thin under the punishing heat, while the air shimmers with wavering invisible flames. These droughts, stark reminders of nature's pendulum swinging toward scarcity, have etched their own narratives into the lore of the region. Many times, history records the desperation that accompanies such extended periods of dryness, crops withering to dust, the mighty Mississippi retreating to shy streams, and the land itself crying out for the blessings of rain. The Dust Bowl of the 1930s stands as a testament to nature's harsh tests, leaving behind stories of struggle and resilience woven into the very fabric of these southern lands. However, as with all elements, drought is viewed through a prism of myth and legend. In the eyes of the ancients, the dryness was seen not merely as a physical challenge, but as a celestial conversation between man and godsan, expression of displeasure, or a trial to purify the spirit. Tribes of the past would look to the skies, beseeching the rain spirits to favor them, their hopes soaring skyward with every whispered prayer. In the narrative circles, you find a quirky tale nestled in the folds of history, the story of the drought dancer, a young woman gifted, or perhaps cursed, with the mythical ability to summon rain with her spirited dances. It is said that her performances ignited hope in parched hearts, her rhythms reverberating through memory long after the rain fell. Historians still argue whether this tale holds a kernel of truth, or whether it serves as a symbolic embodiment of hope in humanity's darkest hour, reminder of the power of belief to shape reality. In scholarly circles, there's debate about how such myths emerged as coping mechanisms or metaphors reflecting the indomitable human spirit against nature's whims. Did these stories fortify spirits, create solidarity, or provide solace against the inevitable shifts in the wind and clouds? Perhaps in them lies an acknowledgement of the Earth's cyclical natura, balancing act of resources renewed and withdrawn, informing cultural narratives of adaptation and resilience. You can almost feel the parched wind lift the edge of your imagination, inviting you into tales about resourcefulness spun in hardship, where the cool shade of wisdom is as fertile as any oasis. People learn to read the invisible script of the skies, interpreting its nuances and responding with patient endurance, working the land with both reverence and ingenuity. Rest now, in this moment of calm introspection, letting the echoes of endurance from the past wrap around you. With each breath, drift deeper into the gentle arms of night, cradled by the knowledge that even in drought's testing embrace, there blooms an inviolable core of resilient say, promise of renewal woven into each challenge faced and each story told. As the night deepens, let yourself sink into dreams nurtured by the wisdom of ages. Here, in this dreamscape, the arid landscapes soften into visions of bounty and growth, attuning your restive spirit to the harmonies of legend and life. May your dreams sustain you with whispered promises of rain yet to come, replenishing both land and soul. Sleep soundly, carried forward by the ever-turning wheel of time and tide. As you wade further into the woven tales of the night, you find yourself among the ruins and echoes of ancient cities thought to be swallowed by time and the elements, hidden beneath the rolling hills and rippling waters of the Mississippi Valley. Here, mystery shrouds the landscape in whispers of civilizations lost, stories buried deep beneath layers of silt and time's relentless passage. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a ghostly city, its remains whispered about in legends across generations. The land about you hums with an undercurrent of forgotten life, the air thick with the aura of those who once walked these paths, leaving behind shadow trails now interwoven with myth. The mainstream historical fact tied to this landscape is the ancient city of Cahokia, near present-day St. Louis, once bustling with life and culture. A pre-Columbian Native American city, it stands as a testament to the complex societal structures that thrived long before European contact. Cahokia's monumental earthworks, especially its towering mounds, hint at an intricate past filled with trade, spirituality, and community. As your imagination wanders, you find the stuff of legends, the tales of Eatonway perhaps, whispered from ancients peering into the mists, of this mythical city sunken overnight by the wrath of the river spirits displeased by human arrogance. Built near the river and boasting gold and riches beyond measure, Eatonway becomes both caution and revelation across the spoken chronicles. Among the quirky anecdotes, there is one of a dreamwalker, a guide believed to traverse these hidden realms, finding ancient truths drawn in symbols only they could interpret. Historians still argue whether these dream-driven sojourners were real, or figments inspired by a longing to decode the past, lost to silence the mapmakers of imaginations seeking treasure in the voids. In scholarly circles, the debate swirls around the delicate balance between fact and folklore, spawning questions about how these tales might illuminate forgotten practices or preserve cultural wisdom filtered through the lens of imagination. They stand as both warning and aspirational narrative forum, where human folly meets the formidable watchfulness of nature and time, testing the boundaries between known history and imagined legacy. The ancient soils and submerged ruins of Mississippi hum their own tunes, asking you to listen closely, to hear the melodies of lives once led, to catch the whispered instruction of architects, whose blueprints were laid not just in stone, but in the blood of earth and water. Embedded in these stories is the timeless reverence ode to natura veneration that weaves through collective cultural memory. Now, let the shadows of the past draw you into the comforting cadence of sleep, where mystery blends seamlessly with dreams. Feel the vibrations of this forgotten world lull you into a soft repose, histories gently massaging both mind and consciousness into realms where imagination and memory braid together seamlessly. Let these myths guide you into a peaceful haven, where sleep heals and dreams uncover lost paths. Here, beneath the calming blanket of night, cradled by the stories told in whispers through time, find rest and renewal. Let the echoes of ancient civilizations sing you softly into the reaches of slumber's embrace, in harmony with the endless rhythm of the earth's enduring spirit. The night draws you further into its embrace, taking you deeper into the lush, shadow-draped landscapes of the Mississippi Delta, where the line between reality and mythology often blurs. Here, the bayous murmur ancient secrets, teeming with life both mundane and otherworldly. The air is thick with moisture, and the swamp sings its timeless symphony croaks of frogs, mingling with the distant rustle of unseen creatures. It's a place where myths seem to breathe alongside the humid air, and the dense vegetation veils more than just the earthy ground. It masks stories as old as the land itself. Among the tales that cling to the Spanish moss-draped trees are those of the formidable creatures believed to wander these mystical waters. In the mainstream narrative, alligators and snakes command both respect and caution from those who venture into their territory. But beyond these acknowledged sentinels of the swamp lurk legends of creatures born from the shared fears, reverence, and imagination of the generations who came before. Enter the realm of the Quapaw tribe's lore, where these bayous are home not just to animals, but also to spirits and beasts unlike any seen by ordinary eyes. One particularly fascinating narrative tells of the piasa bird, a fictional creature, part bird, part serpent, said to haunt the cliffs along the river. This creation from the melting pot of European explorers' tales and Native American storytelling would swoop through the skies, a guardian of the wilderness and enforcer of the land's unwritten rules. A quirky tale that persists in the backwoods involves the swamp boogeyman, a creature rumored to be a guardian of the swamp's balance part human, part myth, with a gator's mighty tail. Stories say those who treat the swamp with disrespect might feel its guardian's eyes upon them, urging caution or fleeing in the flickering shadows. Historians still argue whether these myths were born from the need to pass on ecological wisdom or from a simple desire to give a face to the mysterious forces governing the wild. It doesn't matter if they truly lurked in the dark corners of the bayou or slithered out only in the feverish dreams of a campfire storyteller. These creatures take on a life of their own, breathing vitality into the legacy of the Delta. The scholarly debate extends to interpretations of these tales as allegories for survival or moral parables, warning of harmony and hubris. Within these narratives, we find echoes of ancient wisdom, the ebb and flow of civilizations, and the indomitable spirit of nature as a living, breathing entity, that we are but part of a tapestry woven with both silk and shadow. As the bayou's earthy scent fills your senses, you feel the comforting weight of the past bearing gently upon you, a subtle reminder that these stories are more than legends. They are an integral part of the land's spirit. You're invited to heed the wisdom shared through these stories and to immerse yourself in the primal call of nature, resonant and powerful. Now, let the murmur of the bayou cradle you to sleep. Allow the deep, drowsy tone of the swamp, tempered with the elegance of myth, to envelop you in comfort. The myths themselves, interwoven with tales of creatures both feared and revered, shade the edges of your dreams, welcoming you as night's most cherished visitor. Feel the touch of mystery and myth, draw you into a slumber thick with legends, the kind of sleep that rejuvenates the soul. Dream of those hidden realms where creatures ebb and flow between the worlds, lulling you with the mighty heartbeats of an ancient land. Rest now, cocooned within the stories that softly guide your night, serenaded into sleep by the symphony of the Mississippi Delta. As the whispering tendrils of night coil around you, the celestial expanse above becomes a tapestry of wonder. Picture the vast dome of the sky stretching infinitely, each star a sentinel casting its watchful gaze down upon the world below. It's here, beneath this expansive canvas, that celestial phenomena like comets and eclipses have inspired both awe and trepidation throughout time, leaving their mark on human consciousness and folklore. Imagine standing in the cool night air, your eyes tracing the mysterious path of a comet across the sky, its fiery tail painting a long, luminous brushstroke against the darkness. To those who came before, such sights were portent symbols imbued with divine significance, believed to foretell great upheavals or momentous events. In the mainstream historical narrative, Halley's Comet serves as a prime example. Its appearance has been recorded and mythologized throughout history, linked to significant events ranging from the Battle of Hastings in 1066 to Mark Twain's birth and death. However, delve deeper into the myths woven from these celestial displays, and you uncover tales that cloak these astronomical occurrences in layers of meaning and mystery. The indigenous peoples of the Mississippi and its surrounding areas often viewed celestial events as direct messages from the spirit world. An eclipse might have been interpreted as a cosmic dance between sun and moon, a temporary battle, or a moment of celestial unity, a time when the earth held its breath and stories were whispered more reverently around evening fires. Consider the tale of the Sky Bridge, a mythical pathway illuminated by comets, believed to allow ancestral spirits to visit the mortal realm briefly. This esoteric passage was said to shimmer brightly, a signal that the boundaries between worlds were momentarily traversable. A quirky tale from more recent memory involves the local star singer, a character believed to harmonize the night with melodies that could either hasten or delay the effects of celestial omens. People would gather, hope mingling with skepticism, as he serenaded the sky, his tunes woven into the starry expanse testament to the enduring bond between humanity and the heavens. Historians still argue whether these stories served as early attempts to explain the incomprehensible mechanics of the cosmos, or whether they were more poetic interpretations, designed to impart a sense of connection to something larger than oneself. Scholars ponder whether they reflect an instinctual human yearning to find order, narrative, and significance among the stars' distant lights. In the scholarly realm, discussions hover over whether these myths arose as comforting constructs against the backdrop of an overwhelming universe, or as cultural linchpins that conveyed values, fears, and aspirations across generations. The celestial dance of comets and eclipses became narratives rich with allegory, illustrating the delicate balance between fate and free will, mortal and immortal. The night symphony of crickets and distant breezes ushers you deeper into the spell of these luminous wonders, encouraging you to embrace the mystique of the heavens above. Allow the intricate dance between celestial events and human stories to sink into your consciousness, rocking you gently into a serene reverie. In these moments, let the world's weight lift from your shoulders as you surrender to a peaceful sleep. Dream of vast, star-filled skies where comets draw their fleeting arcs and eclipses provide moments of cosmic wonder. Embark on journeys within dreams, embraced by the eternal dance of light and shadow played out above, reminding you of the interconnectedness of stories and stars, myth and reality. Rest now, as you breathe in the night's rich tapestry, woven from the fabric of time and space, where every twinkle and flicker holds a whisper promise of narratives coiled within the sky's eternal gaze. Let the serene weight of these celestial tales guide you into the depths of a cosmic slumber. In the soft embrace of the night's rhythm, you venture into the sacred spaces that punctuate the landscapes, like ancient signposts of both reverence and mystery. These sacred groves and sites, interwoven with vines of myth and branches of history, pulse with a quietude that speaks directly to the soul. Here, beneath the canopy of ancient oaks and whispering willows, lies a world where ritual and legend converge, creating sanctuaries suspended between the earth and sky. Imagine walking into such a grove, where the air is heavy with the scent of damp earth and the sweet perfume of blooming magnolias. A gentle breeze caresses your face, carrying with it the stories of those who once gathered in these hallowed spaces to pay homage to the earth's wisdom and seek guidance from the spirits that guard its secrets. These sites are interlaced with history and lore, standing as silent witnesses to the interplay of human devotion and nature's timeless patience. In the mainstream narrative, these sacred sites were often the centers of cultural and spiritual life. The great mounds of the Mississippian culture, such as those at Cahokia, served not only as architectural feats but as spiritual hubs where lives intertwined with divine rhythms. They drew the faithful to celebrations, harmonizing the cycles of planting, harvest, birth, and departure. Peering further into this sacred realm, you uncover tales of enchanted groves that held the keys to understanding the natural world. These were places where the veil between the worlds thinned, where shamans, priests, and visionaries claimed insight into the great mysteries of the universe. It's whispered that the trees themselves recorded the secrets of the cosmos, their leaves rustling in a cadence only the wise could decode. One quirky legend you might find intriguing tells of a talking tree, said to reside deep within one such grove. It offered riddles spoken through the rustle of leaves and creak of boughs, promising wisdom or wild mischief to those brave enough to listen. This tree became the subject of many fireside tales, a symbol of the whimsy and wonder present within nature's embrace. Historians still argue whether these legends are rooted in actual rituals practiced long ago or if they spun from the imaginative tapestry of oral tradition, threading cultural continuity across vaster time spans than any one lifetime could encompass. Did these tales serve to record knowledge in an unbroken chain from antiquity, or were they performative maps of morality interwoven with survival instincts? Scholarship often poses questions about the extent to which these sacred spaces influenced the development of social unity and religious belief. Were they simply conduits for spiritual exploration, or the keystone that anchored societal structure and peace and gave a face to the forces of nature once regarded only in abstraction? In the quietude of the grove, nature's pulse is steady and familiar, echoing the stories told by generations. Allow these ancient spaces to lull you into a sense of serenity, granting you access to a realm where wisdom percolates like morning dew, draping your thoughts in clarity and peace. As the tendrils of sleep begin to pull you deeper, feel the sacred stories unwind like vines, rooting you deeper into the mysteries of the night. Let the calm bestowed by these groves, cradled in the songs of the earth, rock you silently to rest, the leaves whispering lullabies crafted by the night wind. Breathe in the tranquility of these sacred remnants, welcoming the spiritual energy they release into your dreams. Here in the softness of sleep, explore pathways lit by the gentle glow of myth and memory. Let these storied landscapes wrap you in the safety of legend, granting you passage into the gentle realm of Dreamsa realm, woven with the sacred strands of history's quiet narrative. As the night of the ages unfolds before you, you glide silently into a world where the predictive arts weave through the fabric of daily life. In the Mississippi Valley, where nature and humanity have long danced their entwined dance, the power of prophecy and predictions has held a place of deep significance. Here, amidst the murmur of the river and the rustle of leaves, whispers of the ancient seers resonate, casting glimmers of foresight to light the murky paths of the future. Picture yourself standing on a riverbank at twilight, the air alive with the gentle hum of cicadas and the distant call of a great blue heron. It's at this boundary between day and night that the wise assembled, those who claimed the ability to peer through the veil of time itself. These seers claimed no magic wand, but could read the universe through signs from nature, the flight of birds, the patterns of stars, or the ebb and flow of the river tools that equipped them to interpret the cryptic language of fate. The mainstream historical narrative offers glimpses of these figures, such as the renowned oracle of the Natchez people, whose prophecies directed communal decisions and emboldened the spirit of its people. Their insights were treasured, as much for what they revealed as for how they unified the communities around shared destinies and dreams. Yet, as you delve deeper, you find legends crafted around these prophetic figures, transforming them into both mystics and myths. They were both revered and feared, cloaked in shadows of uncertainty. The star maps they consulted for guidance reflected back the stories of stars themselves, loved by some, while grudgingly respected by those who would prefer certainty above all. Among the more peculiar tales emerges the story of the flood prophet, a mystic who could supposedly predict the river's rise and fall with unerring accuracy, guiding farmers as they sowed and reaped, molding the community's tides. Whether truth or story, historians still argue over the sources of this prophet's wisdom, debating if it were a keen observation of nature's subtleties or divine whispers caught from the winds. The debate also extends to whether these predictions were genuine prophecies or simply reflections of cultural narratives that offered hope or deterrence. Did these predictions stem from a desire to impose order on an unpredictable world, or did they arise from an ancient understanding of the connections between nature and fate? In this tranquil setting, you become an observer of parallel worlds sown rooted in earth and reality, the other in dreamlike possibilities. The night sky becomes a vast canvas where stories are written and rewritten, each star a metaphor threaded into the timeless weave of predictions, fate, and choice. Let the essence of prophecy waft gently through your thoughts, opening doorways into both past and future as you ease into the quiet melody of sleep. Allow these legendary seers to whisper their wisdom, gently guiding you into a space where forethought blends with dreams, where each vision holds the potential of anticipated reality. As you surrender to the embrace of night, find solace in the ancient gift of sight beyond sight. Rest as these prophetic dreams unfold within you, promising insight and tranquility. Here in this slumbering world, traverse paths lit with ancient foresight, anchored in the comforting knowledge that even as worlds shift, the stories of prophecy and prediction endure, casting light on the long, winding journey yet ahead. As the night wraps around you like a cool, comforting blanket, imagine the landscapes of the Mississippi glistening under the moonlight, a place where echoes of the past linger softly on the breeze. You're journeying back to a time where icy winds once swept across stretches of North America, whispering tales of glaciers that carved valleys and shaped civilizations. This is a world where the remnants of the Ice Age left their imprint on both land and legend, creating stories that speak of a time when survival was bound to the whims of nature's frozen touch. The air here is crisp, charged with the essence of ancient frosts. Imagine standing within this frozen tableau, feeling the chill wash over you. In this epoch, where the land lay quietly beneath sheets of ice, the history of humankind is intertwined with the mysteries of cold resilience and adaptability. Those who walked these lands so long ago came to understand the language of ice and snow, using it to guide their paths and shape their myths. Mainstream history recounts the expansive glaciers that once stretched across the northern United States, sculpting the terrain and leaving behind fertile soil that would cradle future civilizations. The retreat of these icy giants, millennia ago, provided the Mississippi Valley with the rich earth it depends upon. To this very day, legacy of ice transformed into the promise of life. But beyond this geology, you uncover stories preserved in the depths of collective memory. Folklore tells of ice spirits wraith-like keepers of the cold whose fingers traced patterns of frost on window panes and planted gems of wisdom in the souls of those who knew how to interpret their sparkling messages. In these legends, the cycling of the seasons became an epic, filled with battles between warmth and frigidity, anchored in human curiosity and reverence for the elements. One particularly quirky tale speaks of the Firewalker, a mythical figure believed to journey across icy expanses, leaving trails of warmth and color in their wake. Wherever the Firewalker stepped, blooms of spring would emerge, a hopeful reminder that renewal always followed winter's relentless grip. Historians still argue whether these stories were meant to convey deeper truths about cyclical renewal, or simply serve to entertain on the coldest of nights. The scholarly debate continues, pondering whether these Ice Age tales were metaphorical expressions of human adaptability or allegories forged from the ecological changes witnessed by those first explorers of the thaw. Could they serve as a reflection on how humans respond to climatic challenges, their narratives packed with resilience, ingenuity, and a deep-seated respect for nature's unpredictability? In the soft quiet of this timeless landscape, allow these reflections of ice and endurance to seep gently into your thoughts. The resonance of these ancient tales provides a connection to a past where ice bore both life and story, a partnership that has echoed across generations. As you relax into sleep's embrace, let the image of Ice Age legacies melt into your subconscious, guiding you through dreams filled with glacial echoes and warm whispers of spring. In your slumber, see the dance of ice and fire, the balance between endurance and change, play out in the quiet fields of your imagination. Rest now, lulled by the reverence for ancient landforms and the whispered stories they left behind. Let these tales hold you secure in the arms of a deep sleep, where the once frozen earth blankets your dreams and the cycles of nature promise serenity and endless rebirth. Slip into this solace where the echoes of ice harmonize with the pulse of life, weaving narratives that continue to shape the world in which we find comfort and continuity. As you drift further into the night's embrace, the comforting aroma of rich, loamy soil rises softly to greet you. This is the heartland of the Mississippi Valley, where the soil has stories to tell, narratives forged in the fertile dance of water and earth, inked on the landscape through generations. Here, the ground beneath your feet feels almost alive, teeming with the silent, vibrant history that nourishes both body and spirit. Picture yourself navigating this verdant expanse, where the earth's softness cradles each step, and life's potential is embedded within every clump of soil. This land, composed of soil deposited over epochs, has long been acknowledged for its boundless fertility, a resource rich enough to shape societies and spawn legends, yet feared for its capriciousness, where bounty and danger lay intertwined like lovers' quarrels. The mainstream historical perspective reveals how the fertile delta soil fueled the growth of ancient communities, supporting the sophisticated Mississippian civilizations with crops that flourished. These productive fields contributed to the growth of settlements, enabling complex societies to thrive, trading goods, ideas, and stories with distant lands along the sprawling waterways. Yet woven into this pragmatic narrative are tales that give life and character to the earth itself. In the veins of folklore, the soil is more than just dirt. It is imbued with spirit and wisdom, seen as a living entity with which people must seek harmony. There are stories of earthbinders, legendary figures who whispered incantations to coax the earth into yielding her treasures and respected her boundaries, where each seeding and harvest was part of a sacred pact. Consider a whimsical account of the Gold Farmer, a mythical man said to have turned his fields golden with seemingly effortless ease. Legend claims his secret was not one of greed or technology, but of listening to the earth's rhythms, singing to his crops under the silver moonlight until the soil thrummed with energy, bearing fruit as a natural melody. Historians still argue over the seeds of truth in such tales, whether they were born from admiration of real innovation or illusion, spun to encourage respect for nature's bounties. In scholarly circles, discussions persist on how myths attached to the soil become symbols of broader environmental stewardship, as tales were and continue to be retold. These narratives exist as powerful reminders that the earth is not merely a resource, but a binding web of life, stories, and eternity. They speak to a relationship of reciprocity with the land, encoded in cultural memory, teaching reverence, caution, and gratitude. As you breathe in the fresh, earthy scent of this lush world, feel the subtle pulse of the land beneath you, a quiet symphony that once shaped human destiny, inspiring stories that balanced caution with faith. Each whispered narrative carries the nuance of survival bound within soil's dark embrace. As sleep curls its gentle fingers around you, let the chorus of earthbound tales guide you deeper into a serene, dreaming space. Envision fields awash in the glow of fertile dreams, where each seed holds the genesis of a story, and each harvest becomes a living testament to the alliance of earth and hand. Let this harmony of fertile soil and verdant myth lull you into a restorative sleep, where the heartbeat of the land meets the rhythm of your own. Slip into rest, enclosed by the nurturing cradle of the living earth, and let the ancient tales of soil and toil carry you into the heart of dreaming's sweet repose. Here, in the warm embrace of the earth's whispered stories, find peace and renewal under the night's tender watch. As the night deepens and the world around you embraces the hush of slumber, you find yourself drawn to an age-old rhythm that beats softly yet persistently, like a heartbeat echoing through time. Picture now the gathering places of old, where tribes and communities communed with nature and each other, often through the reverberating sound of drums. These were more than mere instruments. They were conduits of energy, pulses of life that resonated through the night, binding earth and sky in their entrancing cadence. Imagine yourself amidst a circle, where the air thrums with anticipation, and every beat of the drum seems to carry with it a story, a call, an invocation. The drum beats, steady and mesmerizing, are elemental, embodying the echoes of earth and the rhythm of the soul. Across various cultures, including those that thrived in the Mississippi Valley, drums were believed to hold the power to summon rain, banish storms, or simply narrate the stories of the land. History tells us that in Mississippian society, drums were central to both spiritual and daily life, used in ceremonies and rituals designed to celebrate the seasons, seek guidance, and maintain harmony with the natural world. The beats served as both prayer and proclamation, making the intangible tangible through their resounding echo. Deeper into folklore, we encounter whimsical tales of storm drummers, individuals who, it is said, possessed an otherworldly ability to communicate with the elements through their rhythmic offerings. Their mysterious percussive artistry was said to calm or conjure tempests depending on their needs. Historians still argue whether the legend of storm drummers arose as a literal belief in their power, or as an allegorical representation of humanity's eternal dance with nature's whims. In scholarly circles, discussions often ponder whether drumming represented an early form of meteorological understanding or a community's attempt to manifest control over their environment. Whether these tales symbolized actual practice, wishful thinking, or a blend of superstition and science remains a topic of fascination. As the night thickens, let the memory of these beats guide your senses into twilight. The rhythmic pattern drums steadily, echoing the land's heartbeat, carrying with it the stories of old as they settle softly on the night air like a trusted lullaby. Allow these timeless rhythms to escort you into restful dreams, where the pulse of drums transforms into the tender rhythms of your own breath. Slip into a sweet slumber where the echoes of ancient beats whisper their gentle stories, inviting you to explore worlds crafted from sound and silence. Rest now, as the ambience of drums cradles you, coaxing you through the passages of dreaming, where tales of earth and sky are interwoven with the steadfast cadence of life. Let these rhythmic tales wrap you in comfort, rock you into a deep repose, where the night keeps its silent promise of renewal, and the universe's rhythm nurtures the gentle beats of dreams. In the quiet solace of drumming's embrace, find peace and a serene journey into the heartland of sleep. As the night unfolds its velvety tapestry, the moon rises high in the sky, bathing the world in its soft, silvery glow. It's a night where the celestial realm casts its soft influence over the earth, and you find yourself entranced by the interplay of moonlight and shadow. The moon's presence is felt deeply here, a silent observer that has inspired tales of change and mystery throughout the ages. Imagine standing under this gentle lunar light, the cool air caressing your skin and allowing the beam of the moon to tug at your imagination, drawing you into its enigmatic orbit. The moon, with its phases of waxing and waning, has long been a symbol of life's cyclical nature, a luminary that influences the ebb and flow of tides, both earthbound and emotional. In the mainstream world of historical fact, lunar cycles have guided agricultural practices, directly impacting the livelihoods of those who lived in harmony with nature's rhythms. Farmers often planted and harvested based on the moon's cycles, trusting that its ancient wisdom would yield bountiful crops. In the realm of folklore, however, these glowing nights have inspired deeper narrative tales woven around the moon's mystical influence. The moon was often personified as a guardian, sometimes a trickster, whose light could reveal hidden truths or cast shadows where none existed before. Some tribes in the Mississippi Valley revered the moon as a deity, capable of bringing fertility to the earth and insight to the heart. One particularly enchanting tale involves Lunara, a mythical figure said to embrace the power of the moon to effect change. Lunara's touch could transform, heal, or enchant, lending magic to moonlit waters and whispering secrets into the dreams of those who gazed upon her luminous face. Historians still argue whether these stories serve to mystify the moon's influence or to provide cultural continuity through oral tradition. In scholarly debate, questions persist about whether lunar myths arose as metaphorical representations of change and renewal, or as evidence of an ongoing romance with the celestial. Are these reflections of the human soul's yearning for connection to the cosmos, or simply conjurations of a yearning heart stilled by the night's promise? As you bask in the moon's soothing glow, allow these lunar legends to illuminate the soft shadows of your mind, filling the spaces between wonder and reality with a gentle light. The stories evoke an ancient wisdom that sings softly, wrapped in moonbeams and whispered dreams, carrying the essence of time's continuum. Now, as the moonlight guides you into sleep's welcoming embrace, let the tender pull of celestial myths carry you into visions cradled in the night sky's glow. Envision the moon weaving its light into the fabric of your dreams, casting a serene luminescence that guides your spirit towards tranquility. Sink into the deep night embraced by the gentle glow of lunar tales, where sleep curls around you like the moon's serene silence. Allow these tender stories to imbue your rest with the calm, reflective energy of the moon, guiding you inward to the peaceful space where dream and reality gently merge. Here, in the cooling glow of lunar reflections, find solace and renewal within your mind's journey through the silent embrace of night. Let the legends of the moonlit night rock you lightly into the tender arms of sleep's quiet depths. As the night sky stretches endlessly above you, a celestial map unfolds, studded with stars that wink down like ancient storytellers, whispering their secrets to the earth below. You stand in their midst, a quiet observer captured by the magic of their light, where mythology and reality mingle within their silvery glows. It is here, under such vast expanses, that the sky has long served as both guide and muse, its tapestry a canvas for tales etched in starlight. Imagine yourself beneath this ethereal dome, where each flicker of a distant star conjures visions of time immemorial. These celestial bodies have offered navigators, their bearings and dreamers, their stories, binding the mundane and the mythical in the shared gaze of those who lived under the Mississippi's expansive skies. In the realm of historical fact, constellations provided the compass by which early societies orchestrated their lives. In agriculture, navigation, and storytelling, the stars dictated seasons and journeys. They marked time and charted destinies. Their luminous paths have not only guided explorers across oceans, but have also charted the histories and hopes of those rooted in the rich soil of the valley. In the gentle folds of folklore, the stars possess lives of their own narratives, crafted and passed down like relics in word. Stories tell of constellations becoming mythical figures, bidding their wisdom to those attentive to their twinkle. For the ancient Mississippi tribes, stars were believed to be ancestral spirits, keeping watchful ease over descendants. A myriad of fiery souls dancing through the celestial sphere. A particularly whimsical tale recounts the story of the Star Weaver, a mythical figure believed to entwine the fates of men and women with the celestial threads of the universe. This weaver spun stories as stars cycled through the heavens, her tapestry, a living narrative that shaped and was shaped by those reliant on her starlit lore. Historians still argue whether these tales served merely to explain the unknowable or whether they inspired confidence in a universe guided by empathetic forces. Within scholarly debate, questions suggested whether celestial myths reflected cultural values of guidance, unity, or reductive imagination. Did these stories indeed imbue the stars with the warmth of familiarity, echoing a deep-rooted belief in the reliability of universal constants shared over moonlit gatherings and shadow-lit truths? Now, as the infinite night sky becomes your metaphorical blanket, allow thoughts of starlit tales to softly envelop your spirit. The stories told by these stars invite wonder and introspection, their light symbols of both knowledge and mystery that watch over dream and memory alike. Breathe in the calming enchantment of celestial constellations, resting assured as their ancient light guides you into a gentle slumber. Let the twinkling stars lead you to tranquil spaces, where fantasy and reality interlace effortlessly, and sleep welcomes you with open arms. In your dreams, tread upon starlit paths where narratives are constellations awaiting discovery. As the night deepens and the world narrows to the focal point of your breath, allow the brilliance of these astral guides to carry you further into sleep's embrace. Bask in the quiet glow of night-old legends, where the stars reassure in their constancy and the constellations whisper eons of stories into the silence, keeping watch as you journey into the heart of dreamscape rest. As the night settles around you, the gentle breeze carries tales of the wind's whispers across the Mississippi Valley. Listen closely, and you can imagine subtle voices threading through the air, the hushed conversations of ancient spirits playing in the rustle of leaves. The wind, like a seamstress, stitches together the stories of the land and the lives bound to it, offering an unseen but ever-felt narrative tapestry. Picture yourself in the quiet embrace of a Mississippi night, where the very air brims with expectant stillness, charged with stories ready to be told. The winds dance around you, brushing against your skin like a breeze from another time, bringing with it the lore passed down through history. In the mainstream historical narrative, wind has always been a guiding force, steering sailors to shore, shaping landscapes, and driving migration. Its ethereal currents have spun the sails of progress and whispered through the histories of those who traversed the waterways and forests of this majestic region. But delve into the heart of folklore, and the wind becomes more than mere movement of air. It is a messenger, a storyteller, a harbinger of change. Among the tales shared by the tribes and settlers who called the Mississippi home, the wind was often personified as a spirit with its own reasons and rhythms, a force of nature, invested with the weight of prophecy and whimsy. One enduring legend speaks of the wind bearer, a ghostly figure believed to carry messages from the spirit world, invoking warnings or blessings as it wove its invisible path through the land. This character could gather stories like pollen and scatter them across the world, carrying with it the hopes, dreams, and shadows of those under its purview. Historians still argue about the function of such stories, were they conceived to explain the unexplainable or to personify an omnipresent force into something relatable and reassuring. Scholars probe further, questioning whether these myths arose from an innate need to harness or cozy up to the elemental forces beyond human control. Could the tales serve as reminders that within the chaotic currents lay an ebb and flow ordered by nature's unseen counterbalance worth respecting and obeying? Feel the whisper of the wind guide your own thoughts, gently encouraging you to embrace the play of these ethereal stories. Let the gentle currents of wind-borne legends drift through your mind, relaxing you as they caress your consciousness and weave you into the fabric of universal stories. Allow yourself to be carried on the softest of breezes into sleep, where the whispers of the wind transform into dreams. Imagine yourself being gently lifted by tales carried through air, seeking solace amidst the stars, where stories watch over you like guardians of insight and wisdom. Rest now, as the stories carried on the wind wrap you in their soothing embrace, guiding you towards peaceful slumber. Inhale the narratives distilled within each breath, and let the wind be your guide into the comforting embrace of dreams. Feel secure in the knowledge that these whispered tales caress your sleeping soul with the wisdom of centuries, supporting your journey into the heart of night's quiet realm. Let the winds sing you softly into the tender folds of rest, where the dance of nature remains steadfast and eternal, a lullaby spun for the soul's deepest retreat. As the night whispers secrets to the world, you find yourself drawn to a different kind of energia, force both ancient and immediate, sparking the stories of flame and flicker. Imagine a fire crackling brightly within its pit, casting dancing shadows on the surrounding landscape, its hypnotic glow inviting stories to rise from the very wood that feeds it. This is the realm where fire takes shape as both a destroyer and a beacon of renewal, its stories etched in every ember. In the Mississippi Valley, fire is more than just an elemental force. It is a presence that has carved its mark into the land and the mythologies that surround it. You stand before its warm embrace, feeling the heat wash over you, banishing the night's chill and illuminating the world with its vivid, flickering light. From the mainstream historical perspective, fire has played a pivotal role in shaping civilizations, both as a tool for transformation and as a force of cleansing. The controlled use of fire in agriculture through burning fields to fertilize and renew the soil demonstrates humanity's partnership with this elemental companion, an age-old dance of balance and creation. Lurking within the folklore of the region, however, are tales of fire imbued with more than mere utility. These flames are portrayed as living entities, storytellers themselves, bearing witness to communal gatherings around the hearth, where stories and traditions passed from one generation to the next. Fire becomes a protagonist in legends, a creature of spirit and whimsy. One particularly intriguing tale tells of the fire spirit, said to inhabit a sacred flame that never extinguishes and holds the secrets of creation within its glowing heart. Believers claim that this fire spirit could grant vision or prophecy to those who dared to look directly into its depths, their minds touched by its shimmering wisdom. Garnering both respect and fear, the flames of folklore have spurred storytellers and historians alike to debate their role in shaping cultural legacies. Were these tales of living fire born from a need to explain its dual nature as both healer and destroyer, or did they symbolize humanity's deeper yearning for illumination amidst life's shadows? In scholarly discourse, questions arise about whether fire myths reflect humanity's ongoing quest to understand transformation stories of renewal and sacrifice woven into the very fabric of existence. Were these flames a reflection of society's understanding of metamorphosis, embedded within rituals of death and rebirth? As the fire's warmth permeates your senses, allow the tales it inspires to guide you towards introspection. Feel the flicker of hope and illumination that emerges from these ancient flames, carrying within it the potential for both destruction and rebirth. Allow the warmth and light of the fire to envelop you as you drift into a tranquil sleep. Feel the comfort of its presence, a tangible guardian offering protection against the encroaching night. Let the stories born from fire's glow accompany you into the dreams, where the flicker of flame mirrors the dance of imagination, shaping the landscapes of your slumber. Now, as the night deepens and you rest beside the gentle, persistent glow of imagined firelight, ease into the embrace of dreams where stories shaped by fire guide you towards renewal. Rest in the glow of myth and memory, where each ember holds within it the tale of life eternally reborn, and where sleep is the refuge of dreams stoked by the warmth of the universe's forgotten fires. Let the sacred flames cradle you in their tender warmth, guarding your night's journey into the depths of peaceful repose. As the night deepens all around you, imagine descending into the world beneath your feet, where shadows play across hidden streams that flow silently through the subterranean realm. You find yourself in the midst of legends steeped in mystery, drawn to the labyrinthine corridors of the underworld where water tells stories just as potent as those on the rivers above. This is a world below the Earth's surface, where legends of underground currents carve their narratives, winding through time and imagination. In the cool, damp embrace of this hidden world, the air is thick with the scent of life and decay, blending into a tapestry of mystery that cloaks these unseen waters. Picture the dark, winding tunnels stretching out around you, nature's intricate arteries feeding into the greater river systems above an essential part of the Mississippi's veins. Historically, these subterranean waters have played a crucial role in shaping the landscapes of the region. Subterranean rivers and aquifers forming unseen foundations for the bustling life above. Not only do they provide water in abundance, but they also hold the keys to understanding the land's complex water tableau, natural reservoir, maintaining equilibrium through drought and abundance. Yet, delve into the depths of folklore, and the underground currents harbor stories deeper and more intricate. These hidden waters are whispered about as gateways to the underworld, or conduits for spirits traveling beneath the earth. In folklore, they often hold magical properties, believed to flow from enchanted springs, or to connect to realms beyond human comprehension. One captivating tale involves the spirit diver, a mythical figure who traverses these hidden waterways, said to ferry messages between the living and the spirit world. Surrounded by wondrous creatures and ethereal guides, the spirit diver's journeys reveal the interconnectedness of waters hidden and known. Historians still argue whether such tales arose from the physical reality of these subterranean rivers or from the imaginations of those whose lives were intertwined with the mysteries of water. The question endures in scholarly debate regarding whether these legends speak to a tangible understanding of geology or serve as metaphorical narratives exploring life's hidden depths. Are they reflections of ancient wisdom about ecology's subterranean workings, or do they reveal insights into the cultural importance assigned to secrecy and protection? As you explore these silent depths, allow the murmur of hidden streams to wash over your thoughts, soothing your spirit with their quiet, persistent flow. Feel the intimate connection running like a thread, uniting the seen and unseen elements of the water's journey. Relax now as you let the whispers of these underground currents guide you into sleep. Imagine the gentle caress of cool subterranean waters as they carry you towards the heart of dreams, where these hidden paths and their stories shape the landscape of your slumber. Rest here, in the depths of the night, embraced by the serenity of hidden waters. Let the unbroken flow of these underground currents weave the essence of forgotten tales into your dreaming realm. As sleep envelops you, trust in the guidance of these ethereal streams, carrying you toward a place of peace and renewal. In these dreams, sustained by the depths, find comfort in the knowledge that beneath the surface, currents flow constantly and resolutely woven with stories of nature's concealed rhythms. Let them sing you softly into the gentle cradle of night's repose, where legends and reality flow together in harmonious serenity. You remain nestled within the verdant depths of the Mississippi Valley's sprawling forest, a place where stories root themselves as deeply as the trees that frame this timeless sanctuary. As the layers of night and foliage intermingle, the whispers of this quiet woodland create a chorus drawing you further into the symphony of nature's most enduring secrets. Close your eyes and feel the gentle caress of a soft breeze rustling through the branches above. Here, under the watchful gaze of towering oaks and swaying pines, time blurs and melts away. The canopy above is a living map, etched with the tales and experiences of those who once sought solace beneath these ancient trees. In the realm of history, these forests served as essential lifelines, offering food, shelter, and resources to the indigenous tribes who thrived here long before roads and railways carved their own paths. Their green expanse holds the footprints of those who traversed its depths, each leaf a silent witness to the passage of years, seasons, and eras. Venturing beyond history and into the realm of myth, these trees are undoubtedly more than just silent observers. They're regarded as sentient beings, each one a repository of stories that have unfolded over generations. The legend of the Tree of Secrets comes to life here, mythical elder among the forest, said to have the power to reveal hidden truths to those seeking clarity. Its gnarled branches were believed to cradle forgotten lore and ancestral voices, ready to share their insights with those bold enough to ask for guidance. The air is dense with the haunting melody of nature's wisdom, played through the rustling of leaves and the creaking of ancient wood. Scholars often debate whether such myths speak to moral lessons about harmony with nature, or if they serve as allegoric connections between humanity and the wild. Is the storytelling born from the forests a way to bridge human existence with a more expansive ecological truth? Within this enchanted grove, it's easy to imagine a world where the line between the mundane and the mythical vanishes like dew at dawn. Just as these trees are rooted deep in the earth, so too are the story tales that anchor culture, identity, and belonging in a living, breathing narrative. As you rest in the cool embrace of night's shadowed forest, let the legacy of these storied woods guide you deeper into the realm of dreams. Envision the safe cover of leaves cradling you, their whispers soothing your spirit as you drift toward slumber. The warmth and wisdom of generations cradled in the arms of nature provide an eternal lullaby. In the quiet sanctuary of your dreams, wander among the enchanting cathedral of trees, where every branch tells a significant part of life's story. Allow sleep to envelop you gently, wrapped in the enduring embrace of the forest's embrace, where shadows and silvered moonlight stand sentinel over your repose. Find peace in the timeless narrative of these natural sentinels, knowing they guard the sacred grounds of your dreams with a presence eternal as the breath of the earth itself. Rest well, held in the embrace of age-old tales and the gentle comfort of a world that spins calm and care into the very air you breathe. As you fall deeper into the stillness of the night, an ancient rhythm unfolds, guiding you to the heart of the Mississippi Valley's timeless dance. Here, the cyclical nature of the seasons spins stories that echo through the land like a serene symphony, weaving together threads of rebirth, growth, decay, and slumber. Picture yourself as part of this eternal waltz, each season a movement in the grand ballet of life, resonating with the gentle pulse of nature's enduring cycle. Imagine standing amidst verdant fields in the tender embrace of spring, the air alive with the fragrance of blossoms and new beginnings. Spring is the season of renewal, where the earth awakens from winter's slumber, infused with vitality and promise. This is a time when life surges forth, and legends speak of the earth's spirit resurrecting with each unfurling leaf and blooming flower. Then comes the warmth of summer, where life reaches its zenith under the sun's nurturing light. In this season, the land offers its bounty, and the days stretch long and languid. The folklore of summer tells tales of abundance and celebration, of communities coming together to share in the earth's generosity, reveling in the fullness and richness of life. As the air cools and leaves turn to crimson and gold, autumn descends with its somber grace. It is a time of reflection, where change is visible, and the stories shift towards themes of harvest and gratitude. The ancients observed this period as a reminder of life's transience, capturing stories of wisdom gained and shared as the year's journey approached its end. Finally, winter arrives, a serene stillness, drawing all into its hushed repose. The world rests beneath a blanket of snow, stories whispering on the cold winds, speaking of introspection and the promise of renewal to come. This is the time when legends of endurance and hope prevail, woven into the quiet embrace of dormant land awaiting rebirth. In the mainstream narrative of the seasons, this cycle is driven by the tilt and orbit of our planet, a scientific rhythm played out across the eons. But in the folklore of the Mississippi, each season takes on a character all its own time, marked not by calendars, but by festivals, myths, and celebrations that honor the Earth's grand procession. One particularly poignant local legend speaks of the Season Keeper, a mythical figure who guards the passage of each season, ensuring balance and harmony in the natural cycle. This keeper is said to walk the land each equinox and solstice, marking the shift with a trail of stories written in the changing foliage. Historians and storytellers continue to debate whether such tales were meant to personify the mystery of nature's flow or to offer a narrative structure that people could relate to closely. Did these stories help anchor human experience within a framework of time that felt both dynamic and reassuringly stable? As you ponder these shifting tales of time's cyclical dance, allow the rhythm of the seasons to guide you effortlessly into the embrace of relaxation and peace. Let the steady breath of nature's timeless cycle soothe you, rocking you gently into a sleep filled with dreams of the unfolding year. Nestle now into the warmth of the season's repose, letting nature's narrative blanket you in tranquility. Here in the night's embrace, journey through time's rhythmic harmony, comforted by the endless flow of seasons turning. Embrace this gentle journey through the dreamscape, where the stories of seasons past and future unite, guiding you softly through the cycles of night's serene slumber. As sleep overtakes you, find peace in the wisdom of the earth's eternal dance, its stories and secrets carried quietly on the winds of time. Rest in the comfort of nature's rhythm, where the pulse of the seasons cradles you gently, holding you safe in the passage through nature's sovereign cycle. As the gentle arms of night envelop you, the stories and sounds of nature's grand performance guide you toward the conclusion of this journey. The Mississippi, with its myriad stories and legends, flows slowly through time, carrying with it the collective memory of all who have lived, loved, and dreamed by its banks. Here in the quiet sanctuary of your thoughts, allow these tales to settle like fine mist, a reminder of the eternal ebb and flow of life. Picture now the Mississippi, winding its way through the heart of the landscape, its waters an unbroken stream that stretches back through history and into the future. This great river, a witness to so much change and constancy, mirrors the rhythm of life itself. Its currents whisper tales of those who have passed, and its surface reflects the stars of countless nights. It speaks of the eternal cycles of nature, a song that is both ancient and ever new, in the depths of night. As you embrace a dreamy haze, this reverent ebb and flow becomes a lullaby, a gentle caress that soothes away the weariness of the day. The stories of the river, its gentle murmuring, and the soft sigh of the wind all blend into a harmonious tapestry that mirrors the ceaseless journey of existence. Allow yourself to be cradled by the river's timeless embrace as it carries you through ripples of memory and imagination. Each legend, each little story, adds its own note to the symphony of dreams unfolding in your mind. The cycle continues, tensions melting away as you drift deeper into your final serene surrender to sleep. The narratives housed in the legendary Mississippi now fade into the tranquil shadows of your consciousness, living there as a persistent promise of life's continuity. The river's eternal flow confirms a natural order amidst the chaos, a reassuring embrace that lulls you gently into a peaceful and renewing slumber. As the stories sing softly in the background of your sleep, release yourself into the gentle pull of dreams. Let the calmness of the water and the richness of the land infuse your rest with peace as night wraps you tenderly in its embrace.